I found this book on one of my favorite YouTube channels. His name is Clark Keegley. I'm gonna leave the link down below if you want to check it out if you don't know him already. So this book is called Psycho-Cybernetics. You probably have heard about this book because it's quite famous. It is indeed actually the iconic book that started self-help books in general. It was released so many years ago, and it has been a bestseller for a really long time. Long story short, this book was written by a plastic surgeon. And this book is primarily about self-image. And I found his stories really interesting because one of his observations was that our self-image doesn't depend on how we look. And his profession was evidence of this statement. A few of his patients didn't improve their self-image after having a plastic surgery, and a few of his patients didn't even need plastic surgeries because they could improve their self-image without any physical modification. That made me think a lot about what our self-image is. Is it in our head? Is it connected to our physical appearance? In the end of the first few chapters, I understood that there is a healthy balance. It's not really black and white, and it's up to you to decide. One chapter stood out more than others for me, and this key idea stuck in my mind for a long time because I've been facing this problem for quite some time. Do one thing at a time. I am usually caught up in doing a lot of things at the same time, and my mind is literally running thousands of thoughts at the same time, planning everything, thinking how to execute stuff, and I feel a lot of pressure from these thoughts. I want to do everything at the same time. I want to be as productive as possible. I want to be as optimized as possible. I don't want to waste a minute of my time. I want to do everything at the same time. But in this chapter, in this book, the author gave me the idea that doing one thing at a time actually will release you from that pressure of trying to do everything at the same time, and you will actually be less worried and more focused on one thing, and you can finish it faster with more quality and switch onto another thing in the list. So I've been personally struggling with this a lot, and that thought stuck in my mind, and I'm really happy about it. Now, whenever I start running thoughts through my mind, I need to do that, I need to do this, I slow down and remember, do one thing at a time. Just put it in a line, put it in a queue, and do what's most important first, then what's next, and then what's next, and then what's next. If you failed at something, you're not a failure. I've been feeling this way every time I failed or something went wrong. I always stick this failure on my face, and I believe that I am a failure. Let's say if I failed at something that day, if a girl rejected me, if I failed at business, if I didn't manage to get amount of views on my channel, if I didn't manage to get a different job, regardless of what I didn't manage to do or to get, I usually take it very personally, and I think deeply about what is wrong with me, what did I do wrong, what could I have done better, and then I start digging, and it goes so deep that I really do believe at that point that I'm worth nothing. But it's very important, according to this book, to slow down at that moment and realize that if you failed at something at some time, at some point of your life, it only says that you failed at that thing and that you're not good at that thing at that time. You cannot identify yourself with one single failure. I wanted to sell luxurious sunglasses. I took a big loan, It took me a couple of years to get it going, but in the end of the day, I ran out of money on marketing and I didn't manage to sell my stock. Later on, I was left with a big loan to pay off and with half of my stock sitting on my balcony. And I had two choices: to regret it my entire life, to be sad about it, and to cry that I'm a failure, I will never do business again, I will never try again, and be miserable. Or I could just switch my mind to something else, move on, let go, realize that I got some experience from it. It's not necessarily that I'm bad at business. That failure said that I was bad at something in that specific business at that specific time. If you view things this way, more optimistic, more cheerful, more supportive, you will be able to get going and start a new business, start a new project, and you will see that you are not a failure and you will find success at some point. And then throughout entire book, he presents the example of TORPEDO. When TORPEDO is launched and it's moving to its target, it actually constantly changes its course according to the coordinates, according to where it is at. It always scans the surrounding. It is very flexible. It always adjusts to the situation. It's not going straight to the target. It does a lot of adjustments on the way. It is very flexible. And the author compares our goals and our targets to a torpedo in a way that we won't be able to achieve and hit the goal from one try, or it won't be very linear and very predictable achieving of the goal. And it's better to view it from a torpedo example, that as you go through life, as you go through achieving a specific target or a specific goal, you adjust on the go. If you failed at something, you try another option, another way. If something didn't work, you try in a different way. And in the end, you will achieve the target. And it doesn't matter if you went straight to the target or if you had to do a few adjustments. Make mistakes, correct them, and go for your goal. Correct them and achieve your target. That example made so much sense to me because I also put a lot of pressure when I don't achieve my goal, or I don't achieve something that I plan to, or if something doesn't go according to my plan in my head. And I've learned in my life to adjust to a situation, change plans, try different ways of achieving something on the go. And this flexibility gives me more freedom. It doesn't put me in the box that I have to achieve something in a specific way, in a specific time. I have some space to create, try new things, make mistakes, correct them, and see what works best. Repeat it, apply it again and again until I'm satisfied. We all have a mechanism. That mechanism is set for success. And the only thing we have to do is to teach our mechanism to achieve the goal we desire. We just need to believe and learn how to believe that we can. Then we have to have some sort of evidence of success. It doesn't have to be a big success. If you did something good, if you had some success in the past in some field, you just have to remember that success and truly believe that you can do it again. Truly believe that you have what it takes to do something that you desire to do. And then this mechanism that we have will do the job. You just have to believe that you've done it in the past, have confidence that you can do it again, set a desired goal, and let this mechanism do what it takes to achieve it. Because it works more on a subconscious level, that fueled by our belief and with a certain target or a certain goal to achieve. So those elements, that balance is important. This book reminded me that I have what it takes to achieve something that I really want, and that I had success in the past in some form or in some way that can serve as an evidence for my future success. I just need to remember it and strongly believe that I have everything that's needed to achieve my goal. Author says that we just have to let go and let this mechanism work. and achieve its goal. Just relax into it and see what your body will do, what your mind will do, and just trust the process. I really loved it, and I started applying this to my life in achieving my goals. And the last idea that stuck in my mind, it's one of the last chapters. The author talks about the life force. The life force that we all have inside of us. When I was listening to that chapter, I knew exactly what the author was talking about. I feel that life force. It tells me what to do. Not directly chattering in my head, but I feel it. I feel this force when I want to create something, when I want to create another video, for example. I download the ideas from somewhere outside of my head. It just pops in my mind, and then I think about it and I imagine it, and I start creating the script, and I start thinking, what can I say in this video? And this process, it goes automatic if you allow it. If you allow this life force to go through you and just act on it, just not blocking it, letting it do its thing. This life force works through you. It's your personal life force. It wants to express itself through you. And whenever you want to do something, just try it. Go for it. You will not regret later. In the end of the day, we are here to experience life, to experience different things, to try more and more. And I'm just really afraid that in the end of my life, if I didn't try something that was on my mind, it will just pile up in the back of my head and I will regret it later. So that's about it, and I hope you found it useful and I interested you with this book. I do really recommend it. It is the book that I will re-listen to, and I will buy a hard copy to have it with me in my apartment, because it is truly life-changing. It is very simple to understand, and you can grasp those concepts and apply to your life. As always, my friend, I believe in you, and I see you in the next one.